Hi Sagittarius, how's everyone doing? Welcome to your March 2017 forecast. For all my new viewers, hello, my name is JJ. This is my channel, JDevianceJ. I give you monthly tarot readings here. So thanks for sticking around, and I hope you enjoy whatever the cards have in store for you guys. Alright, so let's begin shuffling, shall we? So, let's see, Sagittarius. What was coming to mind while I was meditating on your sign? Not much to be honest. It was rather quiet, but like perhaps a hint of frustration can be present in this month of, like, this coming month. And I get this because for the last few readings that I've been doing for other signs, Temperance has been calling for my attention a lot. Not with regards to the other signs, but it would always be like before I actually start my readings with my previous readings, Temperance would be like, why are you ignoring me? Why are you ignoring me? I communicate with my cards, and so I feel like my cards communicate with me as well. Like, I take the characters on each card very, very seriously. So when one is particularly calling for me, like as was the case with Temperance, then that's usually like that, in addition to other signs and signals that I get, is what allows me to believe that this is the right moment to read for a particular sign. Now, of course, there can be other demands that come into play, such as people's requests, and sometimes I'm late in fulfilling those wishes because the energies just don't feel so right for me. Other times, on the other hand, like, I want to please my viewers, I don't want to let you down, and I want to give a fair, equal chance for every sign each month. So for instance, if I started last month with, I don't really remember who I started with, but let's say I started with Aquarius last month, well, then I would want to end with Aquarius this month, just to keep things level that way. So it doesn't always happen, but, you know, I try to keep things fair. So this is just to answer a couple of questions that some viewers have for me as well, like, oh, why does it take you, sometimes, why do you spread out your readings as opposed to, like, upload them all at once? And, sorry, one card flew out. Yeah. Truth be told, if I'm going to wait to record all the readings and upload them all in one go, well then, like, you'd all be waiting until around about the 5th of each month, and I don't think anyone wants to wait that long. But let's not digress. I don't want to digress, so sorry. Let's focus on you guys. The largest event, astrologically speaking, happening this March is Venus retrograde. And Venus is retrograde in your love couple sector, which kind of sucks. It can suck for some, and it can be really, really awesome for others. This will really depend on how strong the foundations of your relationships are prior to Venus being retrograde. So if they were already solid, then things are only going to get so much better for you this month. And if they were a bit shaky, things might break down this month to the point of actually having a breakup, unfortunately. I am not forecasting any breakups. Actually, I don't forecast anything. I just go with the intuitive feelings that come to me and with what the cards and their imagery have to say. In this case, overall speaking, it's more or less going to be a very positive month filled with happy surprises, happy events, fantastic physical experiences. Ooh, wow, alright, okay, all these cards, cool, all of them, all at once. Yeah, So, fulfilling physical experiences, extremely intense experiences as well, sexual flings here and there, like that can also happen during Venus retrograde. You can fall in love really, really hard, but you can also have your heart shattered into pieces. It just depends on how serious you're feeling. So if you meet someone and you think that they're the one during Venus retrograde, you may have your heart broken soon after that, because they don't end up being the person that like that your first impression of them actually revealed. Like your first impression would have been rather deceptive if you were to meet someone during Venus retrograde through like a rosy filtered lens, where when everything just seems like it couldn't get any more perfect, right? Unfortunately, though, this is the illusion that comes with Venus retrograde. And it is these illusions that test us and ask us to question how strong the fundaments of all of our relationships are. And if they're not strong, they're not going to survive. And if they are strong, then you move up a level. You one-up yourself this way. So let's take a look at the cards that have come up so far. We've got the Nine of Cups, Major Arcana Judgment, then you have the Four of Swords, Major Arcana the Emperor, the Knight of Swords, Major Arcana the Fool, Page of Cups. Page of Cups has been coming up for a lot of signs this month. Judgment has come up for a few signs as it pertains to the karmic month that we are living out, because this is a very karmic month for everyone. Some may feel it more than others. So with you guys, because there's a more immediate relation between Venus being retrograde and falling in your sector of like love and sexuality, you might feel this even more in terms of coming to grips with weak bonds that just are not supposed to serve you any longer. But these bonds may have been the kind that you were just attached to for a bit too long, because you kind of got used to having this person around. You know, we grow up in certain cultures that emphasize how important it is to stick to the people that you've grown up with. Like if I've spent 10 years of my life getting to know this person, then it only makes sense that we should continue to be friends. And it may make sense in other cultures to prioritize these people over people that you just met yesterday or the other month, even though in actuality some people that you meet in more present times, like who you barely know anything about, you've only been getting to know for the last month or so, can have an even stronger impact than people we've known for years and years and years. And when this happens, you start to question whether or not like you're actually being loyal to those whom you've known for several years, when you start to take it more seriously, the opinions of people that you just met within recent months. And I feel like our generation, so my generation, the younger generation, has to put up with this discrepancy in cultural upbringing than our parents' generations and the generations of our grandparents. So we're more accepting of the saying that you pick your family is not necessarily of blood. But the older generation is still more adamant about the fact that If you are blood related, this is your family. And there's nothing more important than family. So family sticks by one another. And people become your family by proving their loyalty to you. And loyalty isn't something that comes in 24 hours, a week, certainly not even a month, even a year is too short. Loyalty is something that you build up throughout the years. But we are relatively more reckless, if I may say so, than previous generations. Don't hate me on this. But it's sort of true. Look at the decisions that we've been making as of late. And when I say as of late, I mean even within the last, 50 years or so. So this, in a way, does also kind of entail our families, right? While we're trying to live our lives like the fool, things are really going on behind the scenes here to draw our attention to more important matters that can't be neglected any longer, which often creep up anyway, usually in the last couple of hours of the day when we're getting ready to go to bed. These are things that, come creeping up into our minds, but we're taught to stop thinking, put on that meditation track, try to clear your head, try to force out your thoughts, and in my opinion, that's not how meditation should be. And that is certainly not the solution to our problems. The solution to our problems is to confront them head on, head strong, and to impose a structure onto them, to apply logic and deduction, to actually do something about it. If we keep these impressions in the form of an idea and an idea alone, well then they start to grow in all sorts of forms in our heads that don't serve us anymore, and then the next thing you know, we explode and gain a temper, much like the emperor. Except the thing is that the emperor has kind of earned his way up to this stage. He is the king of all kings, and so when he loses his head, he knows why he's losing his head, and he knows how to channel this rage and this temper in a way that can shake mountains, right? Whereas in this particular case, Sagittarius, we might just end up pissing people off with this Knight of Swords here, where we just engage in an extreme version of immature rage and kind of just being a bit too reckless with how it is that we're going to handle things, where we're like, we don't have time for this, so let's just wing it. Life is too short. I've got time. My ideas aren't going anywhere. It's okay. Let them brew a bit longer. Let them brew. The problem is, though, you will come to an impasse at some point. And I'm speaking cognitively. So you'll come to an impasse where your thoughts just don't have any more room for expansion, nonetheless so for adoption either. And what the emperor does is he adopts well-calculated thoughts that are transferred down to him from the empress, which is something, that we can kind of do in these almost sleeping moments. This is transitioning, from wakefulness into sleep, into let's say the first two stages of sleep is what I like to associate with this Four of Swords here. So it's not deep sleep, but it's on our way to deep sleep. It's the first two stages of sleep when you're still you've got half an eye open and you are consolidating the information of the day, information that you've learned throughout the day. That's what the Four of Swords is. And then in those moments you are reminded of things from the past, where then you just try to shove these thoughts out of your awareness because you're like, well, I don't have time for this. I need to rest now. I need to rest. And by shoving these thoughts out of your consciousness on purpose, there's not enough room for someone with as much power and strength as the emperor to justify actually doing anything about it. So then this energy turns into a very immature energy. And that's the feeling that I'm getting in this particular reading. This is not usually how I interpret the emperor at all. The emperor is also Aries. So for some of you, you may have an Aries in your midst who's kind of pissing you off right now, and not pissing you off in the good way either. The same with an Aquarius, or like an air sign in general, but the Fool is like very much so Aquarius, right? So yeah, let's see what else there is. Aha, there we go. You see this stagnation and this impasse and this postponing of certain gut feelings and instincts that arise from these thoughts, you know, that you keep saying, I've got all the time in the world to just to deal with these ideas later, like they'll take form later. The more I brew them, the more they'll take form in a better way later on. Like, I haven't quite figured out the details yet. I'm working on it. Like, how long have you been saying you've been working on it? And this is, when we're looking at the Page of Cups here, now I'm transferring thought into emotion. So thoughts on just a purely thought level here, so just simple ideas unattached to any limbic feelings here that just are repressed for too long, you know, that you explode in temperament and you just you don't even know what to do with it anymore. And these can be feelings that you have for a person in your life, but you're not willing to admit to yourself that you have these feelings, so you kind of just keep shoving them until one day you just don't know what to do with it anymore. Like, you really don't know what to do with it, that you force yourself into a state of denial here with this Eight of Swords, and then you just inadvertently end up breaking your own heart. Like, you don't need anyone to break your heart for you. This just happens to you by default. Or if this is not the case, then you act too fast, again without thinking too much. You act too fast and in an immature manner, that you throw yourself, with this Fool card here, you throw yourself into a relationship with someone during this time of Venus retrograde, which is lasting all the way until April 15th. So I can't tell you when this may happen. It can happen literally any time between now and then. You throw yourself into like a fling or a relationship with someone, and your feelings are so inflated, right, that you don't even have enough time to process how you truly feel, that they end up hurting you. They end up hurting you if it's not you ending up hurting yourself. But if you think about it, actually, Sagittarius, it's kind of the same thing, because you put yourself in that situation. Whether or not you allow them to hurt you is just kind of your responsibility, right? You threw yourself, maybe you are about to throw yourself into a situation that has consequences. And when that happens, you're back to thinking, oh, God damn it, I'm just better off alone. Like, I was doing fine on my own anyway. It's not like I needed anyone. I was just having fun, and then the fun got out of hand. But I've always been fine on my own. There's a lot of yellow in your reading, from this Nine of Cups to the Fool card to this Nine of Pentacles. see if anything else is going to come out. Yep, okay. So, well, now isn't this interesting? Okay. This is interesting because we're going from a grand leap of this Three of Swords here to this Two of Cups. Perhaps after the realization here, you know, that you're just like, oh, I'd rather just be alone. If every time I encounter someone I like, you know, and then I randomly fall head over heels in love with them, I can't even justify why I would have such intense feelings in such a short amount of time. If this is what's going to happen every single time I meet someone, well, then I'm better off on my own. I want someone who makes me feel like this. With this Two of Cups, you know, there's just total bliss and harmony and coordination between you and the person that you dream of. There's nothing doubtful about it. There are no extremes with this person. It's very harmonious. You're not afraid that they're going to let you down, because this kind of person doesn't let you down. This kind of person isn't interested in a fling. This kind of person wants to take you seriously. This kind of person makes you feel limitless in your ability to love unconditionally. And that is where this Magician card comes in. And in actuality, Sagittarius, okay? In reality, when you find someone who is worthy, right? Then this Nine of Cups, this Fool card, and this Nine of Pentacles here, all together, to me, culminate to this Magician card here. Notice how they've all got a very strong yellow theme to them. So we can also think about the solar plexus here. Perhaps a few of you may want to consider meditating on your solar plexus, like really working that particular chakra, which is also talking about a lot of sexual energy and pent-up sexual frustration that perhaps comes from this feeling that anyone you encounter these days is just interested in having something temporary, but that's just not what you want with this Two of Cups. You want someone who's actually going to be there for you. But what I want to say, okay, is that with this Two of Cups, right, when you find someone who makes you feel complete this way, you feel happy. You feel young and are able to take a leap of faith, be adventurous and risky. Why? Because like with this person, there is no real risk. You'll jump off this cliff together. Or you feel so safe with this person that if you tell them you want to be able to have this liberty, okay, to come and go freely, to go off on backpacking adventures on your own sometimes, to be this independent woman or man, this person will love you so much that they'll do that for you, that they'll want all those things for you anyway. And that is how you unlock the code to this magician who has the power and control to do whatever his heart desires. Okay, and on that note, I'm going to end your reading because I think what a fabulous reading, Sagittarius. Especially if you take the more positive side of things here. Because I know, yeah, we have this nasty Three of Swords here. We have quite a temper here with this Emperor as well. And they're both, you know, at extreme ends of this reading, here and here. But let's focus on this line here instead. So yeah, okay, cool, Saggies. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much, all of you, for your continuous support month after month. This is why my channel is thriving. My channel is thriving because of your likes, your shares, and regardless of a couple of trolls who appear every now and then, I'm so happy to have the support that I have from you. Thank you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to grow like this, and I'm actually thinking really truly of expanding into social media. So maybe I'll open up a Facebook page soon. Who knows? But give this a thumbs up if you appreciated it. Share it if you would like to share it. Cool. Leave me a comment if you want. If you have any inquiries, let me know. Yeah. I will talk to you in April. So, bye my lovely Sagittarius.